Well, welcome everybody to Ask the Cheeseman, and we'll just wait for a few more people to turn up before we start the show. Talk amongst yourselves. So it's good to see Kim. Well done. Thanks for coming along there, darling. Kim, who doesn't know, is, for those who don't know, not sorry, Kim doesn't know. For those who don't know, Kim is my lovely wife and my producer today, and she'll be doing all sorts of things to people who do naughty comments. So she's the moderator. So a couple of shout outs already. We've got Mr. Ballbag, Mr. or Mrs. Aya, SK, g'day to you. How are you? And yep, all good. Looks like. Right, and the stream's good. So, all right, let's start the show, shall we?
Well, g'day, Curd Nerds. G'day, Curd Nerds.
Well, g'day, Curd Nerds.
Well, g'day, Curd Nerds.
Well, g'day, Curd Nerds. Well, g'day, Curd Nerds. Well, welcome to another episode of Ask the Cheeseman. This is episode 70. We're clocking them up there, so only 30 to go before we reach the triple figures. But yeah, 70 episodes, fantastic. And it's great to see Matthew, Montana, K Chalmers, Geordie, g'day, PS 114, Ace Boof, Ace Boof, I think that's how you say it. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Natasha from London, fantastic to see you. Just a few things today, and we'll just keep going. Who's steady trousers? All right, we'll get into the questions in a minute. This week's patrons, Ethan Darmarest. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Thank you for your patronage. You would have noticed over the last, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, I've been producing 4 cheese making videos a week, which is quite amazing. I'm managing to fit those in. So not only do we have a taste test once a week, or a technical tips and tricks sort of video, we also most weeks we're getting a cheese making video, a how-to tutorial, and of course there's the podcast that I do, Little Green Cheese, and I'm doing the video version of that as well as the audio version, and also obviously this show, Ask the Cheeseman. So 4 videos a week, all about cheese. So if you're into cheese, you're in the right place. So that's good to know. The Friday video, which is the main video of the week for me, is Double Gloucester. I've had a piece of Double Gloucester in the cheese cave for an entire year. So 1 year old, and I thought I'd crack it open and see what it tasted like. So tune in for that one. That'll be Friday morning, midnight my time, so Thursday US time and London time, probably same thing. The cheese I'm making this weekend is Montasio. It's an Italian style cheese made with half goat's milk and half cow's milk. So it's done in the Alpine style. So it's going to use a thermophilic culture. So I'm going to make Montasio. Now don't forget, during the show, of course, there's oops, where's my finger gone? There it is. There's Super Chat, little $ down there. If you want to throw a few bucks my way, that'd be fantastic. No obligation, of course. And don't forget that I've also turned on YouTube memberships, which is an alternative to Patreon, and it's native to the YouTube platform. And I think the membership cost is $4.99 a month, and with that you get the cheese making video of the week. You get it 2 days early, and I give it to you via the community tab, and it's members only. Also, you'll get a shout out on this show and possibly the podcast show, depending on how we go. And you get all these little cool little icons in chat that show how long you've been a member. So pretty cool. I'm looking at other perks to go with the membership, but I haven't quite figured them out as yet. Anyway, so let's get on with the questions. So, what have we got? Steady Trousers says, "G'day, Gavin. What can you recommend for a good starter cheese making kit? Please say hi to Phoebe, your number one fan." Hi, Phoebe. How are you? Um, Good starter kit. Depends on the sort of cheese you're after. So I've got a couple up the back. So there's the that's a quick mozzarella kit. So you can make the quick style mozzarella, which I made a video on that using that kit, and it's had over, I think it's 2.2 million views now. So it's a very popular cheese. And of course, you can make ricotta as well and ricotta salata. And there's another one up here, a fresh cheese making kit by Mad Millie. And that one you can make, let me think, halloumi, and a whole bunch of other fresh cheeses, cottage cheese, and a whole bunch of other good things. And they're on the cheaper end of the cheese making kits that we have. So that's probably good to start with. Annie from South Africa, good morning to you, Annie. SK says, "When air drying, can I leave a cheesecloth over the cheese to stop it from getting dirty?" Indeed, you can. In fact, before I had a little umbrella, so a little, it's a mesh umbrella. I'm going to put them up on the website. I've got a few of those, so I can put them up on in the shop. But a cheesecloth is exactly what I used to stop anything getting on top of the cheese, like fluff, dust, any bugs you may have in your house or what have you. But that works. Okay, Andrea, I think that's how you say it. G'day. So, yeah, Matthew, the big 70. Tutu said, "Good afternoon from Bangladesh, 5 hours difference." Matthew says, "How am I fitting all that cheese in the cheese cave?" I've got 2 spots left at the moment, but there is a massive amount of cheese that's ready in September, Matthew. So stay tuned for lots of taste tests. So I'm trying to clear some room. So the brick cheese will be ready very soon, as well as the, what's it called? Oh, the triple pepper jack. So that'll be ready soon, and a few other cheeses already in September. So or late August. So we'll have lots of those, and I'll have a bit of a clear out. I think even the parmesan's ready, so that'll be nice too. And Maddie from American Midwest, g'day. Steve from Manchester, g'day. Steve retracted his message. Montana, how do I determine when a cheese is overripe? Any strong characteristics to watch out for? Good question. It depends on the cheese, of course. So you can have, say, a bloomy rind cheese, and they're typically the ones that overripen and they really do taste a bit ordinary. So if you make a bloomy rind cheese like, a Camembert style or Brie style, or even bloomy goat, you've got to check to make sure they don't, get really, really runny. If they get really, really runny, they have a really strong ammonia smell, and that's how you can tell they're overripe. I'd rather eat a Camembert or Brie style cheese that's underripened than overripened. So, as for semi-hard and hard cheeses, they just get better and better with age. So they do have strong characteristics. Some of them are on the smelly side, like you get a really good Parmesan, really great pungent odor. But that's what makes the cheese. It's just absolutely fantastic. Where are we? Michelle says hello from the Republic of South Africa, I think. That's what RSA stands for. Andrea says, "What's the best rennet to make white queso and queso fresco?" By the way, I love your channel. Yeah, you can use any vegetarian rennet. what I tend to do is use I use this product called it's made by CHR Hansen, and it it's called Chimax Plus is what it's called, and it's got a IMCU of 200. IMCU, if those who didn't watch podcast episode yesterday, stands for International Milk Coagulation Unit, and it's the strength of the rennet. So liquid rennet's better to use than tablet rennet for those two cheeses that you mentioned there, Andrea. Steve says, any chance I can be a cheese tester? If you don't make your own cheese, you can test all the cheese you like there, Steve. Vin's Vept fantasy music. All right. What's the most unorthodox cheese I've made? There are so many styles and techniques. Have you just gone wild to try and make something strange for the sake of it being strange? Yeah, I actually did. So, those who have been long time on the channel, you would have seen my, what did I call it? Petite Blue. Petite Blue cheese. What I tried to do was make a blue cheese in the style of Camembert, without the white mold. So I added a blue mold and used Camembert hoops, and well, it was only about that round, basically. Yeah, about that round and about that thick. And it turned out to be absolutely fantastic. The blue mold coated the surface of the cheese, and it actually, instead of having to poke holes in the cheese, which I didn't even worry about, the blue went into the rind about a centimetre. What's that? About half an inch. And you could see it all the way through, and it made the paste in the middle look a little bit green. But the flavour was just absolutely blew my mind. It was soft, creamy, and it had a nice. It wasn't strong. It was a mild blue flavour, but yeah. So check it out. It's called Petite Blue. So that's where I went wild for the sake of being strange. Ace Buff said, I have a bachelor's apartment that is about 27 at night and hotter during the day. What cheeses would be good even if aged at that environment? I would think that unless you've got a cheese fridge, then what you would have to do, Ace, is make fresh cheeses only. So you can make fresh cheeses at those temperatures, no problems at all. Probably best to make it when it's about 27, because most starting temperatures for cheese is about 32, 33 degrees Celsius. So you may want to make it in the evening. So fresh cheeses, ones you can consume within within a week or so. So they're the best cheeses for that sort of climate. Or you can always wait for winter. Yes, indeed you can, and make any cheese you like. I should have read that second part. Rightio. I've got a question here somewhere. Where is it? Natasha says, is YouTube your day job? What did you do before? Well, currently, yes, it's my day job, as well as working with my lovely wife, running littlegreenworkshops.com.au. We've got an online store, and on weekends we teach cheese making, soap making, candle making, bath bombs, and body products, all natural. So it's based around sustainability, stuff you can make yourself with natural products. So we run that business, and it has a massive big cheese section as well, where you can buy all your cheesy goodies. So that's kind of my day job now. I've probably got an announcement next week, because I actually had a full-time job that I'm kind of had to go on sick leave, extended sick leave for my headache. So, yeah, watch this space. Anyway, Geordie says, and welcome, Geordie, I've got access to raw cow's milk. The farmer doesn't know which cultures are in it. Is there a way to tell? I added thermophilic to a Gruyere to be safe. Is this okay? The milk is fantastic. You won't know what cultures are in it, because the cultures actually don't come they're not present inside the udder of the animal. They actually are present in the environment around the cow, or around you, and they will self-inoculate, a bit like wild yeast, if that makes sense. So, for instance, a good example is Brevibacteria linens is only present in some areas. I know my cheese cave happens to be one of them, by the way. But no, they're only present in certain areas of the world. And same as all the other lactic bacteria. Some are in the milk. They're not present in the udder, but as soon as they leave the teat, they're present on the teat of the animal. So, yeah, they're not actually in the milk, they're in the environment. So then they're in, as the French would say, the terroir of the cheese. Okay. So there isn't a way to tell. There isn't a way to tell if there are bad bacteria, and there's a milk testing kit you can buy. Fairly expensive, mainly aimed at commercial cheesemakers, and that's to test for Listeria, Salmonella, and E. coli are the three main bacterias that they check for, that you obviously don't want in your milk at all. That's what pasteurization does for you. That kills off those three bacterias. Okay. Inon says, how do I test my rennet? I don't know how many IMCU it is. It should have it on the label, and if it doesn't, it should say how many drops or milliliters you need to use of that rennet for so many litres of milk. It should have that on there. If it doesn't, then it's not worth the money you paid for it, unfortunately. Excuse me. Okay. Phoebe says thanks. Steve says, I'm about to replace my fridge freezer and I'm thinking of using it as a cheese cave with a thermometer. How about a thermostat? Thermostat thingy in the fridge part. Will it affect the freezer temperature as well? Yes, probably it will. Depends on which part you have the probe in. So if you've got an external thermostat, you've got to hang the probe inside the fridge so it knows what temperature to turn on and off at, right? So it depends on which part you'll put it in. The freezer part will probably stay colder if you put the probe in the fridge part, if that makes sense. So hope that helps. Alex, good afternoon. How are you? And Michelle says, I have experienced late blowing in a gouda. Of course, I re-sterilised everything and considered using lysosine. When would you add this to the milk or only to the curds? No, it's actually a powder you add to the milk before you add calcium chloride. So you make it up with a little bit of water first, and then you add it into the milk. I think for 10 litres, it's 0.3 grams. Now, I'm not sure how to measure that out. I would say it's probably about 1/16 of a teaspoon would be about that much. And that's what you mix with a little bit of water, as you would the calcium chloride and rennet anyway, and add that before you add the calcium chloride and rennet. And that'll stop late blowing. And in fact, any cheeses that you find grow or the milk in your area, and you make a cheese and it starts to form eyes without you even adding propionic shamani, then it's probably best if you can grab some lysozyme and add that for sure. Okay, Matthew says, I've sent more fan art your way. I hope it's not with the black eyes. Feel free to check it out. All right, let's have a look. I'm always tickled pink about fan art. All right, let's have a look at my feed. I don't see it. Anyway, I'll wait a sec. Okay, thanks, Matthew. Brian, hi, Gavin. I've been watching you some months from Adelaide with interest. That's nice. Would you have a recipe for Tassie Mersey Valley style cheese? My favourite. That Mersey Valley style cheese is a sharp cheddar, if I remember rightly. Just I've got a cheddar recipe somewhere, and if Kim, you can pull that up. Um, it's probably on littlegreencheese.com. So there's a written recipe. So if you want to check that out, Kim, and pop that in the notes, that'd be fantastic for Brian. Notifications. Hang on, I'm looking in the wrong place. Righto, here we go, everybody. This is Matthew's. It looks very Monty Python-esque. Here we go. There we go. There's his fan art. Very talented and unusual, but yeah, don't know what the baby hands and legs symbolize, but yeah, unusual. Thanks, Matthew, as always. Very creative. Alrighty. Rightio, where I'm up to. Brett. Brett says, is cheese making as particular as candy making when it comes to humidity and relative room temperature? When you're making it, no, not so much. As long as you can keep the milk temperature consistent with what the recipe says, then it's all okay. However, if the temperatures start to fluctuate due to you're out of control totally, then you should worry. And yeah, it would be finicky, I suppose. But I managed to keep the stuff under control. Tyler, good morning to you. Kitty Cats, hello, fellow curd nerds. Good to see you there, Wendy. I'm missing things. Swifton, g'day Gavin, tuned in late tonight. Time got away from me. My bell paese was a success. Although when I cut into quarters, the only problem, it disappeared so quick. Funny you should say. Oh, and I cut it into next quarters, which I've aged 2 more weeks. Oh, that'll be nice. It'll be a little bit stronger, not too much, especially only 2 weeks. Funny you should say that, Swifton. The Oaxaca cheese that I had, that I showed the other day, the making of and tasting, is all gone. There's none left. So my son has been devouring it. In fact, I should have said yesterday's podcast, I mentioned that we had a pizza night on Saturday night and we used shredded Oaxaca as the cheese. Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. It melted perfectly, and it browned on top, and the flavour was just outstanding. Beautiful pizzas. So if you want to find a substitute for mozzarella, then give Oaxaca a go. It's a bit drier. It melts nice, and it really browns well on top. As far as the when you put your pizza in the pizza oven, of course. So yes, it was delightful. Now I've just noticed on my stream that there are closed captions, so hopefully you can understand what I'm saying, even if you don't. But there's closed captions in English, which seems to be working quite well. I don't see any silly words there, except for the word. That comes up a bit. Tay Eber says, is there any way to make rennet at home? There is. There's a couple of ways, actually. So if you go down to the butcher and get yourself the fourth stomach of a calf, they may have them, I don't know. Some butchers even have them salted, but I think you would ring ahead, first of all. A salted fourth stomach of a calf, and take a little bit of that, put it in water, and it makes rennet for you. Another way to do is to use fig sap. That's a good coagulant of milk. That works, but it does impart a little bit of a bitter taste to the cheese. I haven't tried it. There is another rennet made with the cardoon thistle. So soak the cardoon thistle flowers in water, and that makes a very strong rennet as well. And that tends to be a little bit bitter if you don't age the cheese for a long time. So that's a few ways of making rennet at home. I think I should do a video on that. That would be pretty good, actually. Rennet at home. I know where there's a really good fig tree too. That'll be interesting. Okay. Ace Wolf says, good stuff. I'll try those whilst waiting for winter and try aging outside try again. Oh, hang on. And try aging during the winter. I can really control the temperatures since it's like -40 outside, and basically I can heat less. Like my room is 16-ish anyway, and it's cold near the window, so I'll be set. No drama. Master Steve says, what has been the longest you've ever aged a cheese, and if so, how did it taste? Or how was the taste? 18 months is the longest I've aged a cheese, and it was a manchego, and it was absolutely delicious. Nice strong flavour, great grating cheese. But yeah, the taste, it was actually better than some of the parmesans that I've made. Even though I did make it with cow's milk and added lipase because I didn't have the necessary sheep's milk to make manchego. So it was a bit of an imitation. Probably wasn't really manchego. It was just a very sharp version of, I don't know, some kind of Romano, I suppose, made with full cream milk. Anyway, Carlos says, I'm accompanying you from Brazil. I've made lots of cheeses based on their recipes. Congrats on your channel. Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate it. Steve says, thanks. That is what I thought with the probe in the fridge. Yep, yeah, all cool. Not enough coffee. Yeah, I need some more coffee too. Oops, I've slipped. Inon says, my rennet is somewhat on the older side, about 2 years old, and it does say on the label how many drops per litre, but since it's old, I would like to know if I can test the rennet's coagulation. Yep, for sure. So grab yourself a quarter of a cup of just milk, and make sure it's at room temperature, and then add 3 to 5 drops of rennet straight into it. And if it coagulates within 30 minutes, then you know it's okay. And the strength of your rennet is okay. If it doesn't, then buy yourself some more rennet. I usually make sure if any of the ingredients are going to be in date for my cheeses, then it will be the rennet. So if it's over a year old, I throw it. But all the other stuff, calcium chloride, lasts forever. I've got a bottle I've been using since 2013 of calcium chloride. So, yeah, it doesn't go off. Same with a lot of the freeze-dried, direct vat inoculated starter cultures. You know, I've used some that are a year out of date, and as long as they're still a fine powder and haven't gone gluggy in the little silver foil packet, then they're perfectly okay. I tend to move most of my starter cultures into sterile jars, the little sample jars with a yellow lid, and that keeps them moisture proof, and they last a lot longer. Okay, Potato McWhiskey. I think I've seen your channel. Do you do those what is it? Civilization things? I'm pretty sure you do. Anyway, I'm already glad I ate lunch. Anyway, yeah, because I think I've watched it because I play Civilization 6 occasionally. Anyway, Brett says baby Swiss cheese. That would be, Kim, yeah, that would be good if I could find the right molds. Very hard to get molds here in Australia, as in the baskets for the cheese to put them in. Very limited amount imported because we don't make many ourselves. In fact, one of the only ones that we make ourselves, I sell. I get it from a supplier, wholesaler, and it's the 165 millimeter mold, which is what's that, 6 inches or something. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. Kim, yep, that'll do, love. Farmhouse cheddar. There is another cheddar cheese recipe on little green cheese, but that's okay. Where is the cheese joke of the week? Oh my goodness, yes. There is one. There's always one. All right. Here's a good one. Look, I just open it up randomly. What is a Spies' favourite cheese? Anyone? Bueller? It's Cantel. I think it's like can't tell. But there's the cheesy joke of the week for what it's worth. Anyway, and if anybody likes cheesy jokes, got this little book in our store. Say cheese. Cool. Alrighty. Thanks, Matthew, for prompting me there. Brian, I enjoyed and loved Limburger cheese since I was a young kid of 7 years old. Did not know it was stinky, but did know it was a good flavour. Being I'm 50 years old, I still enjoy it when I have a chance. A few months ago, I made it a few months ago. It was good. My question is, what is the best time frame to harvest the aged cheese? I did it for 2 months. Does it get better with more time? Those red mold cheeses tend to just get runnier with age. It depends on how firm you want the cheese. So 2 months is probably good. I did a Tilsit, and that tend to flatten out fairly quickly after about 2 months. So I decided to eat it there and then, and it was absolutely amazing, even though the pong was right on the nose. But yeah, so look, most of those cheeses don't tend to last after 3 months because they start to go runny inside, really, really runny. So yeah, I wouldn't take them past 3 months, Brian. Burns New says, when is your book back in stock? I'm waiting to send the order for a cheese kit because I want your book also. International shipping is a bit annoying. I do not want to make 2 orders. Good, all right, no problems at all. I get the hint. I will print some out. Print out books because I print them out and bind them here. So yeah, I can do that. No problems at all. Sorry about that. I apologise. April says, thanks for your videos. I really enjoy the variety of cheeses you create. I've seen stovetop and microwaves methods of making mozzarella. Is one method better than the other? Yes, indeed. The stovetop method, which is the traditional cow's milk version, which is not traditional at all because it's made with buffalo's milk normally. But the cow's milk variety that you make using starter cultures and not citric acid is superior of the two. The microwave version where you just add citric acid tends to flatten very quickly after about 2 days. The cheese just goes like that. So yes, it is best to use the starter culture version to get the acidity right down there, or right up, to about 5.3 pH before you start stretching. Okay, Kai Pie says, hello, Curd Nerds. Yep, Kim, thank you for that, love. I should have read ahead. Telex, one of my cheeses got very mouldy and soft and stunk out the whole house. I was giving it regular brine washes and even coated it with vinegar from time to time. Why do you think this happened? I think it's been infected with the good old culprit, Brevibacteria linens, the red mold. That's what will happen, and you'll get that stench. In fact, my brick cheese at the moment is starting to stink out the fridge, so I better give it a quick clean and check if it's ready to eat, and if it is, do a taste test video for all you curd nerds. That's probably why. That's the biggest culprit if it gets infected with Brevibacteria linens. If it's in your area or in your cheese fridge, then you'll have to use a ripening box mainly to stop it. Rocky Dinosaur says, have you milked before? If you want to milk some goats, you can visit us in the Macedon Ranges and meet our Sannon girl. Oh, that'd be fantastic. Could you send me an email? Just go to the About tab of the channel, and there's a Contact Me button thing. Could you send me some details? That'd be fantastic. But I have milked cows before. So I grew up on a dairy farm, but I haven't done that since I was 16 years old. So when I joined the Navy. But send some details. I'd love to do a video of milking goats. That'd be cool. Oh, that's a funny name. R3AP79. Good morning, Gavin, from Mississippi Gulf of the USA. Good morning to you. Cam Pryor, g'day, Gav. Loved your videos. You have inspired me to have a crack at making cheese. Do you reckon a halloumi or keflatiri will be okay for a beginner? Hope to catch up soon. G'day, Cam. Good to see you. Yeah, halloumi, great starter cheese, no problems at all. It's absolutely so simple to make. Keflatiri, yeah, you probably get away with that as a beginner. So, yeah, give that a go. Cool. SK said, would you recommend a YouTube paid subscription or the Patreon subscription? Swings and roundabouts, really. The Patreon one, I get more of the profits. The YouTube one, they give me 70%, I think, of the profits, of the payment, sorry. So, as far as Super Chat goes, they actually give me, it's about 95%. The only thing they don't give me is the processing fee for the credit cards. So, Super Chat's probably best, and so is Patreon is the best. But thank you very much for asking. Sharina says, Reblashon, are you going to try that one? Yes, it is on the to-do list. I did try it once, but it wasn't successful. So I'm going to have to give it another go. Brian, what is the time for veg rennet before it's not too good? If it's one of the fermented Cheeseman rennets, then they're good for about 2 years usually. Jeremy Pope, please check Twitter. I made you some fan art, even maybe a new. Oh, here we go again. All right. Oh, that's the bad one. One new notification. Oh, look at that. Hang on, trendsetters. Let's have a look at this one that Jeremy's made. Oh, I love fan art. So cool. There we go. How's that? Side by side, like that. Spot on. Nah, nice one. I like that. Yeah, keep sending them via Twitter. I do like like a good fan art. Oh, goodness me. Thank you, Jeremy. Steve says, try goat nutrition in the UK for cheese baskets. Okay. I love a good suggestion. Hopefully they ship over here, because a lot of companies don't. Some of the ones I've seen in the UK. Carol, thank you very much for that $2 super chat. Really appreciate it, as always. R3AP79. Matthew, keep up the good work. I like that. It's very good. You must be very fast at that. Next question. Can't wait to start our cheese making venture once we get moved to our new home. Until then, I have our chicken flock and our garden to care for. Yes, chickens. They're great. I love them. I feed mine every morning, have a chat to them. We've got 7 chooks, or that's what we call them in Australia anyway. So 7 chooks, and we collect the eggs from them. And, yeah, they're lovely. Absolutely lovely. In fact, we had some lovely eggs this morning for breakfast. Matthew, my dream volunteer job is help you moderate the stream. I've already got Kim to do that, Matthew, but thank you very much for offering. Carol, people, please use the super chat. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate that. Reap79. Oh, that's what. Sorry, the E is a substitute. Oh, right, okay. Maddie says, I'm making my first 14-day fermented sourdough bread. Any suggestions for a complimentary cheese? 14 days quick cheese. Yes. Kefili. It'll be ready in 3 weeks. Now, one tip when you're making sourdough and cheese in the same kitchen, the wild yeast from the sourdough can get into the milk. And what happens there is it will then give you an early blown cheese, and you'll get all these bubbles straight after the curds have been in the cheese press. So just be careful. Make sure that the yeast is put away somewhere else, and you give the kitchen a good clean with white vinegar, all the surfaces that you rolled the flour on and all that sort of stuff, and they don't come in contact with your cheese making equipment. So, Matty, there's some suggestions there. Master Steve says, um, favourite type of cheese? All cheese is my favourite. Haven't met a cheese I didn't like. So there you go. Chris says, good day from Central USA. Good day, Chris. Steve, goat nutrition, do lots of molds and molds plus cultures. Oh, that's fantastic. All right, I'll check them out. Cav Kamari says, do you have any videos about the difference between various molds used for cheese making and what kind of cheeses would expect to choose ones over the others? I'm curious about it. No, I don't. I don't have a video about molds. Are we talking about molds as in baskets or molds as in the penicillin type molds? So I'll take it as baskets. Baskets. Sure, I have quite a few of those, so that'd be cool. Tutu says, Gavin, you got me hooked in the cheese making for last one. Following your video and recipe till now, made about 7 different kinds. Most came out perfect. Videos are awesome. Cheers, mate. Thank you, Tutu. I appreciate it. I try and make the videos as simple as I can. So somebody straight off the street with some milk and some goodies could probably make them. And a lot of people have no problems. Carol says, my chook sing with me. Yeah, well, mine talk to me. So I've got a chook that's 9 years old, and she's an old battle axe. Her name's Bunty. We named her after one of the chickens out of the Chicken Run movie. So, yeah, she's still alive and kicking from the very first flock we got of 4 chickens. And there's been many that have come and gone since her, but she is tenacious, that's for sure. Maddie, thanks for your advice. No, thank you. Reap 79. We have about 60 hens and 2 dozen roos right now. About to harvest 20 for our family. aka freezer camp, as my wife likes to call it. Kangaroo meat is quite nice. Tutu, cheddar is perfect every time. Vacuum packed it all. Yeah, it works fine. The penicillian type molds. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. All right. So it's not baskets. How about I do one on baskets and molds? Okay. Cool. Let's have a look. I had a comment come up for review. That was strange. The penicillin types. I'm a big fan of tangy cheeses, but don't like blue, and wondering what kind of molds give different types of cheeses. Yeah, so blue will give you a lot stronger flavour than what, say, Penicillium candidum, which is the white mold, and Geotrichum candidum is actually a yeast, not a mold. So I found out the other day. And that tends to prepare the surface of the cheese for the Penicillium candidum to grow faster. And we've got some talk about chickens, which is cool. Caden's toy review. G'day, Caden. My Anato Extra says it expires in January. However, I just purchased it. Can this be used past the expiry date, or is this short life normal? Funny to say that. I'm using the same Anato that I bought back in 2013. It doesn't have an expiry date. Keep it in the fridge, though. Make sure it's in the fridge. Okay. Matthew says, do you have Steam? And if so, what games do I play? Yes, I do have Steam. And I've just been playing a lovely game called City Skylines. So creating cities. Very, not very action-packed, but I like it. It's good fun. I like the builder sort of games. So, 9 years old. Yes, she is a lovely chicken, and she doesn't have a scaly mite in sight, scaly leg mites. Some of the other ones do, and I try and treat them, but they keep coming back. But that's a different story. I wrote a blog post on it once. Carol, Marcella, Fricassee, Bridget, and Gertrude. Yeah, cool. Oh, roosters, not roos. Oh, we don't have kangaroos. All right. Oh, fair enough. Liam, feeling comfortable in your presence, Gavin. Can you give a big hello to Kate on stream from me? Hello, Kate. And that's from Liam, by the way. There you go. Even a kiss. Andrew, you should find another cheese channel to collaborate with. There's one other cheese channel that I know of, and that is Job's Cheese Lab. So if you're into just cheese making content, then Job's Cheese Lab is the one for you. So yeah, definitely go and check his channel out. It's spelt like I say it, Job's Cheese Lab. Really good little channel. He's just started, so don't forget to go and subscribe to him to see his cheesy content. I think he's doing about a video a week, so he's really good. I do like his style. It's different than mine, that's for sure. I'm more educational, instructional, that sort of thing. He's more experimental. So, yeah, go and check out some of his vids. They're pretty cool. Reap79 says, my chooks are therapy for me. I suffer from PTSD from my time in the Marine Corps. Sorry to hear, mate, but I'm glad that the chooks cheer you up because they are good fun. Yes, City Skylines. Only got it about 5 days ago, but having a good time with it. Burn Snoo, best cheese to melt between two breads in the sandwich grill. Ooh. I think a early cheddar is probably one of the best melters and tasting ones. Vintage cheddar, not so much because it tends to go a little bit bitter when it's melted, I found. But an early cheddar, so about 3 months old, beautiful in a grilled cheese sandwich. So, does my old chook still lay eggs? No, she doesn't. She stopped years ago. She's grown. I know it's not the chook channel, or I can do a different one, but I know it's not. She's grown these big spurs, so she's actually become the pseudo rooster. We don't have roosters because we're in a suburban block, and they don't allow them. But she's got these big spurs, so she's pretending to be the rooster. And when she wants to keep the other chooks in line, she actually mounts the chickens like a rooster would. So hilarious. Anyway, Sir Elliot, what's your opinion on corgis? Oh, they're dogs. I don't know. Don't know. I got 2 dogs. I love them. John, hello from Michigan. Gavin, love your channel. I'm eagerly waiting for fall. What's fall? Oh, autumn, right. For the humidity drop so I can ramp my cheese making up again. Well, best of luck there, John. I hope that all works out. Keep yourself down your own path. Family loves watching your vids together. I won't change it, mate. Don't worry about that. Hawkey, g'day. No one asked today, what's my next cheese? When can we expect it? The next cheese will be Montasio, and it'll be out next week, I hope, if it all goes well. No, not Joe's. Job. Jobes. Job's Cheese Lab. 3 words. Like Job from the Bible. That one. Okay. Kavu Kamari again says, one thing I'm curious about. I'm in a warm university dorm and I'm curious about the kinds of cheese I can make that don't need to sit around for too long taking up fridge space. There's only really a few that you could make. Well, I always go back to Philly because that's 3 weeks. It's beautiful, lovely cheese. Any of the cheddar type cheeses, you could try them at 3 months, so they wouldn't need to hang around too much in your dorm fridge. So those type, or like fresh cheeses, they're a good go-to one when you don't have too much time. Yep, Hawkey, very good. Thank you very much. George, is eating too much cheese bad for you? Love your channel and love cheese. Well, actually, cheese has about the same amount of protein as a good steak does. The fat content is about the same as a steak, actually a little bit more. But the calcium in the cheese is absolutely vital for strong, healthy bones. But it's also good when you eat the cheese when the calcium and magnesium, and that sticks to your bones. There we go. So, yes, cheese is good for you. There's been many things that have said so, and many studies saying it's good in moderation. Everything's good in moderation. Okay. Righto. Had my youngest daughter in my lap. She's having a good time watching and listening with her daddy. Oh, that's fantastic. It's become quite a great show. I really do love making this show. It's so much fun. So many people watch it. William from South Carolina, how are you? And Shlomo Ford, good to see you again. And we've got 10 minutes left of the show. How hard is it to start making cheese? Not hard at all. You just need the guts and determination to get into it and pour that milk into your pot and give it some rennet and all that stuff. But no, it's easy. All right. If I can make it, anybody can, and it just takes practice to make perfect. That's why I know it looks simple when I make the videos, because it is, right? Just got to follow the recipe. But the thing is, with time and making more cheeses, you get more experience, so you know what's going to happen. And if you slip over temperature, what's going to happen to the cheese? If you cut the curds too small, what's going to happen to the cheese? And, you know, if you don't wash it with a simple brine solution when it's maturing, what's going to happen? So I've experienced all these different things, and that's why I can answer these questions. Anyway, cool. Kavu Kamari says, I think that if you eat a lot of cheese, the thing to worry about is too much salt. Yeah, my doctor mentions to me when I get my cholesterol tested. That's probably the only thing. Stop eating so much cheese. And I say I only eat it in moderation. You know, we give it away to family and friends, so not a lot, but a fair bit. Jackson says, "Hey Gavin, I'm making a pretty cool animation for you. Do you have any suggestions?" Animation. I don't know. Have a think of something. How about a mouse running towards a piece of cheese, eating a cheese? There's a good one. I could use that animation on the opening of one of the shows. That'd be cool. Show will end just in time for me to head off to the stockyard this morning. Fantastic. William says, thank you. I've been watching your vids ever since I found your uploads. And Montana says, thank you so much for the wonderful advice given tonight. I wish you the best and good night. Thank you, Montana. We'll start wrapping up the show now. Thank you very much for coming along and asking all of your questions. And a special shout out to Carol. Thank you very much for the super chat. Obviously, there's still a little bit of time left. If you want to throw a $1 or $2 my way, that would be absolutely fantastic. And watch out next week for an announcement about things. So, yeah, stay tuned. And thank you so much for everybody who came and watched today. I really do appreciate you turning up and asking your questions, because without your questions, it wouldn't be much of a show, would it? So I really do appreciate you turning up week on week. And there's so many people here that do turn up every week. It's fantastic. Don't forget, if you want to buy some cheese making supplies and equipment and kits, all that good stuff, Kim will put the link up in the minute for littlegreenworkshops.com.au. The Patreon link's there if you want to become a patron, get a shout out and get some pretty cool perks as the price goes up every month. There's even kits on the offer. It's shipped anywhere in the world. Pretty cool. No, Kim doesn't have a Steam profile. I'm not going to do that. And don't forget that there's a merch store as well on Cafe Press. There's the link. Thank you, Kim. And that's about it, I think. And don't forget the podcast, Little Green Cheese, that is shown visually on YouTube and audibly on iTunes. Where else is it? iHeartRadio. It's on Spotify, even Spotify. Yeah, you can hear Little Green Cheese on Spotify. Pretty cool. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Well, g'day, curd nerds. G'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds.